Do you want to know how to hit the golf ball 300 yards with one arm? If one person can do it, what can we learn about their motion that can help you get some extra yardage? Good evening, Lion Golf Academy members and guests, and welcome back to another swing analysis. So today we're going to be talking about paul-gindiri, who is a phenom, and I'm sure you've seen him out there, who swings his club with one hand. Now, what we can learn from what he does, I want you to try and look at the body positions. This is a quick video. If you like this, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe. It really helps promote the channel. And also, this is a good education piece for you to see, does hand path really mean anything, or do we focus on it too much? And my interpretation of a good golf swing is one that has a very stable core, a stable foundation that can stay in that posture for as long as you can. We all have different abilities with our hand-eye coordination. Things such as joint mobility, the humerus bone, ulna and radius bone. So once you start pairing that up together, there's no real rhyme or reason for hand path. Now we do draw lines to kind of give a different perspective and to try and keep people on some sort of plane. But this man right here just kind of throws everything out the window. And the reason why I showed him is so we can learn what we can accomplish by having a stable lower body and just working what a natural flow you have. So we're going to do his starting lines as red, and his impact lines, we're going to redraw these lines and put them in orange. And we're going to see what changes, why things change, but most importantly, there's very minimal leg action. And this is something that I preach to everybody that wants to hit the golf ball a little bit better, is you have to control from the waist down. It has to be stable and connected to the earth. So let's take a look. As we take this club back, is what we can see, this dramatic pull inside. Now obviously we're not going to look at hand path. This is a completely unique motion. However, what we are focusing on is the body rotation, the body stability, the head stability, etc. We keep going back in the motion. As we get to the top of the swing, we can see he's trying to get to that top plane line. If this was a normal analysis, he does a really good job of getting his upper body lined up and ready to go. What do you notice about his body though? His whole body is still in that spine angle. His head is dipping down, just like we would like. We like to go down to steal some ground force so we can push back up into it. His back brace line, he's actually pulling a little bit further away from the ball to provide enough room to slingshot his way back down. So he does a fantastic job of getting that club back down in the slot here. You can see it's very blurry, but you can still see that club head on that lower plane line. Look at his lower body. It's hardly moved. He hasn't spun out. His feet are still grounded. He's really snapping down into it there, hence his nickname, Snappy Gilmore. And look at this upper body as he keeps going through. So at impact, we'll freeze it right there, this frame here. So what has changed? Now we're going to redraw his spine angle. So slightly before impact, he's still in the spine angle here. So that's a really good retention. So you can see the club is going to dip below that lower plane line. Now, unless he stands up a little bit to compensate for that, he's going to hit the ground before the golf ball. He's learned through this high athletic motion that he has to stand up a little bit to compensate that and keep that club from hitting the ground. So he loses slight angle, but just before impact, he's still on there. So as we get down to impact in 2 frames, he struck the golf ball. His club is still on that plane line. And what you can see is we'll start drawing these big arrows. So there's his club on the plane line. His back brace line, he's still on that brace line. We don't even have to draw an arrow. You know, he moves slightly back, which is great. His shoulders are still level to where they were. His spine angle has stood up slightly, you know, and that's what we talked about. He's coming a little bit out of his posture, but that's because if he doesn't do that, he's going to hit a good 6 or 7 inches behind the ball and bounce it. So through trial and error, he has learned to come up slightly. But most importantly, look at his feet. They're both planted. Look at his legs. Very little hip turn. So he is using his strong legs by staying connected to the ground, driving and turning as much as he can. He went down, stole some ground force, pushing back up slightly, and then from this position we see that dramatic flip of the wrist. Now keep in mind, now he's losing a lot of his posture because he has to release that club, and he has to start standing up to release it and flip it through. But the most important part I want you to watch again, rewind this video and just look at the spine angle retention. Look at the way he's against that back brace line. Look at the stability of his feet and legs and how they stay very sturdy to support the upper body. The immense motion that he's doing in the upper body needs strong support. Does that sound familiar? It sounds just like a golf swing. Stable lower body, Maintain the posture, let the arms and hands develop on their own. Don't be too concerned unless you're in an extreme position. But then again, we have to rely on our extreme compensations for that. So sometimes you can do it, a la Jim Furyk. Sometimes you cannot, a la me. So don't swing like me, swing more like Snappy Gilmore with the body. Hope you enjoyed that. Fair as and greens.